Hey Virgo. So what's been happening is during the second part, after I finish the first part, when I lay out the second part and give myself a few moments, a lot of major themes start to come up, which is why, if you notice, I pause more, is because that is where I'm at with this space and time, because as I change, I have to articulate my words in a way, in a different way, basically. So I appreciate the patience. We're going to talk about codependency, because we talked about freedom, and ultimately what I was getting to is that you are no longer going to feel as codependent. You're becoming free of that. Especially Virgo risings, you're seeing the freedom. And when Virgos finally see the freedom, there is nothing left to hold them back from experiencing joy, from moving 10 years, 10 steps forward, 10 years forward, 10 steps forward after taking so many back. Excuse me, after taking so many back. This is now an internal and external alignment. It could be that Pluto in Aquarius is playing this role as well. For Virgo risings, you will have Aquarius in the 6th house of work. We talked about that too, and that's before I really thought about it. Hold on one second. I'm just going to grab my notes. It's early. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm going to start shuffling in just a moment. Also, so much is going into Aries. So much is going into Aries. Aries will be, I'm like, who am I talking to? Aries will be in your 8th house. So, more to do with money as well. But I think the main thing here is this coming back to yourself in a way that is important for you. Important for you to recognize and understand. Money in the sense of other people's resources. I think for a lot of you, you may even have someone who invests in you. You may collaborate or begin to collaborate with someone about this connection. So you want to build something and you start. And then all of a sudden you may meet the right person that you need to. Even more exposure, even more light. A lot of you will start to be recognized and seen for this. You now set out to experience more of this lighter feeling for a while. This is an emotional maturity, and sometimes that takes a youthful approach of letting go and understanding that even if you fight this again, you're going to come out the same. Just more hurt because you're going into it again. So, avoiding this at all costs, be very careful with all of this information and yourself until Taurus season. that is when you will see how things are really playing out and how you can then begin to recognize that where this codependence part of you lies is in the mind mostly. Your emotional health is really important, Virgo, but your mind and your ability to shift it is the superpower that that you need behind it all. You're recognizing the weight and responsibility in committing to someone deeply, and also committing to a path. You're thinking about this in a way in which, like, I don't want to, like, let's put it this way. Like, we're talking similar to Tauruses in their energy. You need to have faith in where you're going. You have to have trust that if you need to make any changes, you will. To not fantasize too much about what that will look like specifically and what you're actually learning along the way is a big, big part of this. There, then you are able to see what it is you're learning about this change from any codependent relationship. You recognize that you've played your role in it as well. Because so in one way, someone is getting what they want from you because you're meeting that unmet need in an unhealthy way. Therefore, it's a vice versa thing. They're also meeting yours and perpetuating that cycle. So either you're working together or you're realizing that I can't work with someone in this way. I need to figure this out on my own if I'm ever going to be in relationship. Either way, it brings you back to that. And you may want to set out specifically on thinking about what independence looks like in a relationship now moving forward, and giving yourself some time to think about it and not pressure yourself into knowing right away. That's very ego. But it's in this, you can't get away from it this month. You kind of have to face it. And I know that sounds very forceful, but you're just in this moment where it's like so heavily intertwined with your beliefs and your faith and your life and what you're building and your interpersonal relationships, so your relationship with the universe and God and your relationship with yourself, and how that relates to how you're able to have a life independent of anyone else in your mind. Sorry about that. But you're seeking to take the jump physically. It's a very good move because a lot of times it has been said and studied that physiology is what's really helpful. So, jumping into a health routine right away during this Aries season or the eclipse will be the best thing for your mind and your emotions as you set your future goals. Where you're seeing the weight around responsibility between what your committed life, work, relationships, and yourself, and your spiritual life, and then what your ego wants. And knowing that they're both welcome. Like, I'm not saying that this is not a negative spew on the ego. This is one that's really necessary for this change, and it may feel like a little murky at first. Some rose-colored glasses are being removed, but I think this foundation is also going to bring you new ideas, where you start putting a lot more energy into that because you see how good it is for you. Now, I talked about codependency really quickly as if it will just go away in a month. It might not. There are layers to it, but I think you're recognizing where those layers are coming up in your life. And what stopped you from experiencing abundance perhaps has been that you're always willing to receive what someone's willing to give, even if it's not at all what you deserve. You know, taking the crumbs. But when you do find abundance, don't be afraid to be charitable. Maybe the energy behind it is different. Pluto at the bottom there, saying, hey, it's change time. This is also this rebalancing. You're now getting, you know, some of God's will for you. You're finding this greater strength within yourself because you're giving it to yourself. You realize, oh, look at what's clarifying the Ace of Cups, though. Like, I mean, come on. This is you realizing that everything that you've had to go through, even feeling that boost. Don't you love this blue? It literally matches. It's tarot blue. It's crazy. I didn't even know. You are experiencing this facade. You realize it's been here all along, but it's almost like someone's been playing major look this whole time. But where does that come from? If we're going to talk about subconscious level as we're entering a new year and a new time, a new astrological year, why everyone's feeling so extreme about these eclipses is because for a lot of people, their reality is very shifting, and that is an end of the world. Someone said that, and I was like, nah, don't listen to that extremity. But then I tried to break it down into a very simple metaphor for all of us, and it is. And I talked to Libra mostly in Aries about that, is this huge reality shift, especially that they're going through. Your reality shift is, most people's is very internal and personal this month, but it will show through, right? And the people who are on this journey with you will become more apparent. And we don't have to hate those others. We can wait, but we don't have to wait. You know? This cycle, you find that between the eclipses, you have been, the more that you gain this, not just this confidence, but this courage to see and believe the light within yourself and how that gives you freedom from anyone else in the world, knowing that your experience is your own, even in relationship with others. That what is for you is for you. That has been said so many times. Just like Merry Christmas. The more that you see that, the more that you're able to easily walk away, but it doesn't mean it's not without pain. You know, I know sometimes you don't want to feel that pain, but that's what makes you so understanding. That's what makes you the healer. And that's also what makes you realize how much you need boundaries. And you need to be heard. And you don't need to do more. It's about working smarter. At this point, Pluto's saying, hey, if you really commit right now to your life and your emotions and where that brings you creatively, holy shit, you're in for a whole new world. You've worked to get here. You'll still have to work. Don't worry. But your head has to be in it. Your voice has to be in it. You have to be in tandem with your voice and your head, because your heart has to hear you. Because even if you're saying something, if it's not being felt, if the heart isn't experiencing it in a nerve impacting way, nervous system change, which is this Mercury in Aries, right? You got to go through it. One thing we don't realize about Aries is that they're going through it as they're doing it, which makes them so strong. Not everybody can do that. No, for some of us, that psychic awareness is also that heads up that we need to experience something so bodily. Leos too, they can muster that shit. That's the head, the heart, and the back right there. I mean, come on. Let's be real. So, what it is that you're looking to experience is what life wants to know now. You're getting the messages. Your digestive system is clearing. Your karma is clearing too. You may not have realized, but you've been strengthening your mind time and time again to trust. Because you're great with money, but can you accept the abundance flow without thinking you've had to work for it yet, Virgo? Can you work on it by working on these internal things that anyone and everyone in your life would appreciate, including your money, including your energy, your money? Sorry if I'm talking low, I'll start talking louder. I realize that I'm not sitting super close. And please let me know if you couldn't hear this at all, because it was a really great reading and I could always put on headphones. It's like having a mic. If there's any Tauruses or Aries in your life, they're great people to go to at this time. They've been ready, they're waiting, they're experiencing, but more importantly, they're sturdy, capable people who are able to give you sound advice if you're willing to listen. There's also a Leo in your life. For a lot of you, I want you to know that these changes will be abrupt, but the energy lines on them will start to diminish towards your season. I would give it till August for most of this energy to be wrapped up. You know, so be patient too. Like, don't say shit you don't mean. Really, for real, don't do that, because you're just looking to add some debts. Do your best. Temper yourself. Meaning, move your body. Take that risk. Do whatever it is you need to do, and don't take it out on other people. Why? Being embarrassed right now would be really bad for your vulnerability. It will. Be willing to endure and relinquish the parts of yourself willing to be seen differently, but mainly by yourself, right? You may find that you're able to love even more, give even more, and are capable of relinquishing a lot and seeing a lot of how you're codependent, being codependent anywhere that you are, whatever part of you is asking for freedom. And that could change a lot in your relationships, but if you tend to them, it can only change them for the better. And that's what Pluto is here to tell you. Pluto in Aquarius is in your 6th house of work. transformation has begun, and it shall be moving through there for a long time to come. So you will consist on a consistent basis. Be noticing your power and where you've been holding it back and putting it in toxic patterns, to be very simple and honest with you. That's what we're all doing, but I know that you'd understand the straightforwardness. You're like, what? Not just me, other people. Yeah, we get it. Other people are toxic too. But this is the place in which you've been asking to grow, and now it's giving it to you really straightforward and clearing shit up for you and making you realize that you have been, the way you've been working has done you okay, but at this point you need a break or a change at least. So everything else has its time to shift as well. Because you may think this is being forced upon you, but it's not. You've been asking for it and you haven't been listening, perhaps. Or you're constantly in defense, or your nervous system hasn't been ready to change, and now it's finally at a vulnerable place, safe enough place to shift. And then you'll see everything kind of, and you might even feel a lot more energy as well. But it's about time to be honest with yourself. You don't have, the world doesn't have to embarrass you, but if it's within the confines of relationships that love you, then it'll be bridge under the water. Water under the bridge. Jesus. Try to keep it cool. I love you.